afternoon and welcome to Nigeria Now, where we keep you updated with the happenings in the country presently. We're seeing that the soldiers who have been slain in Delta, the burial have been slated for tomorrow by 3 p.m. at the National Cemetery in Abuja, and we know that the president has been billed as a special guest during that burial. So for those who want to know update concerning that, that is what is breaking. More details will be unfolding concerning the national burial for our slave soldiers. We have quite a number of issues we would love to also discuss, and we would love you to be part of it by dropping your comments, your views, and your opinions concerning any of these matters we will talk about this afternoon. I am Sarah Elisha Dashram, and I'll bring the program alongside Rachel Tansy. Good afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon, Celia.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How about you?
The day is going beautiful, so I'm fine. Well, we will start with the issue of security. The federal government have summoned Sheikh Gumi concerning some of the utterances he have been making, especially in relation to talking about negotiating with bandits when it comes to abduction of children. We will recall that recently there are over about 137 students that were being abducted have been rescued. Presently, about 6 are going through some treatment in the hospital. One of the teachers died, and about 131 were actually being talked to, and we saw that they're doing great, doing fabulous. In fact, according to the students, they were being fed, and none of them went through any molestation whatsoever. But the federal government have felt that it is important that they question this cleric Sheikh Gumi concerning every time he brings the suggestion that negotiation should go on. And I remember, Rachel, you and I spoke about that fact, that anytime we see, when it comes to especially abduction of students, we see him coming up to say there should be a negotiation. And during the past administration, talking about Buhari's time, he actually gave that suggestion, which we saw him even taking photographs with some of these bandits after the rescue. A number of Nigerians have actually raised a brown concerning that. A number of people have said, why would he be called? Is he above the law? Why does he get away with everything? And a number of people say, if somebody else had actually done that, believe me, the person would have been rotting in a jail by now. But he has actually, he keeps saying things, and nobody have actually called him to order. And we're saying that the Minister of Information have said it is important that they actually call him in and actually interrogate him and ask him questions. We will recall that back then in 2022, Mahmoud was actually being arrested. And so recently his name was actually, it surfaced as part of the people that are financing terrorism in the country. And we're saying that recently, through his lawyer, he actually, he came out to state the fact that he has nothing to do with that. His name should not be mentioned with that. But then a number of people have said, if Mahmoud is actually in custody, then we should also have Gumi in custody, because he was actually working together with Sheikh Gumi. So presently, he will be, ushered in and then questioning. And we hope that answers that the federal government needs to get, they will get it, because they say if he's found wanting, definitely he will have to face the wrath of the law. But then, Rachel, I just want to hear your opinion concerning this, because, this have gone on for so long. A number of people have said what the Buhari regime failed to do is what this administration is trying to do. Just so that we will know that God, we keep saying that the law is king, therefore nobody is above the law. So if your behavior or your utterances actually sends danger to the nation, then definitely you should be questioned. And actually, if you're found wanting, then the right thing should be done eventually concerning that.
When it comes to the President Muhammadu Buhari's regime, I keep saying that it was an oppressive system of government at that time. And they were very selective of what they saw as trouble and what wasn't, even if obviously that thing could have been a problem. For example, if you tried doing a protest, you were arrested, detained, and we know the hashtag #EndSARS was the Buhari's administration. And young people were killed. It was a massacre as far as I'm concerned. And then we had the like of others, I don't have to mention names, that tried to speak against the government, and they were locked up. We've had where some celebrities tried to bring up a protest against the economic situation, and they were threatened with arrest. and they were shut up and then nothing happened. Anybody that questioned the authority was not spared, even if you're trying to pinpoint the right thing. Why I'm taking it down that far was that it was obvious that Buhari's administration was not going to do anything to Sheikh Gumi because he wasn't questioning their authority. He wasn't. So they couldn't have labeled him as a threat or anything. If he was questioning their authority, he could have been in trouble. I believe so. But because he wasn't questioning their authority, he wasn't seen as a threat in as much as he is. Because there can be overemphasis on the fact that now that he's being called in, this already makes it a slippery ground. You're calling him to ask him questions based on what? That he knew. He knows more. Now, if he knows more, where are you placing him? As a terrorist or as a what? You have to put him in a place for you to get information from him. And if you're not placing him somewhere, you won't get an information, you won't get anything from him. With Mamo, you might have gotten something from him because you have put him, or now that his name has appeared, as a terrorist financier. Now he is a terrorist. And you have placed him in that position, and you can get information from him because you have put him on a side. And even if you say he's associated with, now there are more proof, you can put him on that side. But with Sheikh Gumi, that you're calling him and telling him to come for interrogation, where are you placing him on? On the side of terrorists, or on the side of the government, or as a middleman? And we know that when it comes to negotiation, you can't be a middleman. It doesn't work like that. It's either the people that are specialized or experts in negotiation under the federal government, whatever security agency, will negotiate with a representative of the terrorists. That's how it works. You can't just be in the middle. It doesn't work like that. It's one side and the other side coming together, negotiating. A representative from the federal government, a representative from the terrorists, negotiating. The terrorists are making demands. The government are saying, we cannot do this, and then they come to a level ground and all of that. So at what position and what kind of information do you want to get from him if you haven't placed him in a particular place? I think at the end of the day, there wouldn't be much that you can get from him until you place him somewhere. And that means before you call him in, place him somewhere, do your digging. If he knows more, based on which side is he in, I believe that is how the federal government or the government should go about it. If not, he will still continue functioning at the level where he is. And if you allow him to just be a middleman, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. He can't be. And this is long overdue. And that's why I keep saying the Tinubu's administration is starting out and is doing. And we can't ask the question of why haven't he? Because the Sheikh Gumi's problem, I believe, started not today. So now is the best time to act and silence him. Because you can't keep putting us in a position as a cleric to negotiate with bandits. It can't be done like that. Are they a group? What is their motive? What are their demands? On what ground are you demanding things like that? And then if you are a group, we have to declare you a terrorist. We have to declare you what you are. Then when we get to that point, then perhaps there could be some kind of dialogue, which, I mean, it is never a healthy way about going anything. We've seen that internationally, we've seen that locally, and it's going to continue like that as far as it's concerned, because terrorists whatsoever have no ground whatsoever to demand dialogue. But because of how things have become, you as the government, with the mind of your people and wanting the best for your civilians, have to break your back in order to see that, you know what, people are safe. I believe that is how and what brought about dialoguing or negotiations in the first place, but not because terrorist groups have that right to it, but it's just in the bid by any government that have found themselves in such a position to secure the life of the people that terrorists have been able to have in their custody and things like that. And then now we are looking at headsmen, unknown gunmen, bandits and all of that, and you keep insisting to negotiate with them. He needs to be silenced, and silence either if you tell us whether you're part of them, and if you're not, then you keep quiet. But if you keep speaking and insisting on negotiating with them, then it means you're part of them, and we will tag you as part of them. And if you're part of them, you're not supposed to be a free man, because now it means we know one face among the many that are doing the problems, that are contributing to the problem of kidnappings in the country, and therefore you cannot even be a free man. So it's either you move and go and stay with them in the bushes, or you stay in a jail where you belong, because now you have identified with them. It's only on that basis we are even supposed to listen to you in the first place. So I just hope that our security agencies deal with this with the kind of intelligence I hope they do. If not, we will just keep having him trending, and when he's not supposed to be in the first place.
You know, Rachel, before Mahmoud was being arrested, according to the security agency, he has been on their watch list for a period of time. So definitely, for you to arrest someone, you must have been watching closely, looking at his bank account, because these are part of the ways you look at how much comes in, how much do you spend, what is your source of earning, of course, all of those questions need to be asked. And then they need to also look at your travel records, try to see, keep a track on you, where did you go, what are people you visit. And that was where we saw the security agents arrested him. They said they got him with some money, some current, we went to his office, ransacked him, got some money, some arms and all of that. And according to the security agency, based on that was when he was actually being interrogated or being fished by the DSS, and there we saw it kept going on and on. Now here we're seeing, just like you rightly say, for that of Gumi is the fact that for every time you keep offering yourself that you will go personally and negotiate, and question you ask, who are you negotiating on? Are you negotiating on behalf of the federal government, or are you negotiating on behalf of the terrorists? And Nigerians have also asked the fact that why is it that each time you go there, you go on harm and you come back happy? And why can't somebody else go there and negotiate and come back safely? Definitely, this would definitely raise concern from Nigeria, because they need to know what is it that you have that you can actually go to the dent of these people and come back. So just like you say, we just hope that the government will be able to get the information. Of course, nobody will willingly admit the fact that I am a terrorist in Nigeria. So they need to do beyond just normal interrogation. They need to dig deeper than it is presently and actually get the answer they need. And we hope that when they get something, they shouldn't bury it under the carpet. They should bring it out for Nigerians to know, you know what, nobody is above it. Just like they are promising Nigerians. And I believe that Nigerians will hold the government to their words, because it's right now their words against the government words. So we just hope that the right thing will be done. And we hope, even though the federal government said no ransom was being paid, we believe them that no ransom was being paid, but we hope that more will be done, because the issue of insecurity is becoming something else. We saw that even though we're having over 131 students were back, we saw another fresh abduction again in Kaduna. So it's more like we're doing here and then another thing is happening. But we wish the government all the best, and we hope that security agency will give their best to get the truth out of Gumi eventually. Now again, we're saying that, for some days now, Nigerians have been happy. Hooray! Our Naira is actually gaining a little value, little by little, step by step, even though we're not where we want to be, but we're not where we used to be when it comes to appreciation of our Naira. We saw a circular that was circulated by the CBN yesterday on the fact that, initially they were giving $20,000 to BDCs, that's talking about Bureau de Change, which they use maybe weekly or however they do give them, and then they are not supposed to make more than 1%. Now we've seen that there is more like a slash in the exchange rate, with the fact that the CBN said they will be giving them $10,000 and their interest will be 1.5. So that means they will be selling at about 1,000, possibly 200 and something, and then they can only get it to maybe 1,200 and maybe 60 also, so the
Yeah.
interest isn't that much, and then
It's
it's
not.
only meant to be for eligible BDC. So there is a restriction, and then there are basic guidelines that this bureau de change needs to follow, because if you go outside of that, you will be sanctioned. You follow the whatever punishment that's going to come with that, you will follow that. But I just hope that all of these things will go as it is, Rachel, because definitely right now I think the concern at the time we were raising the fact that who then monitors all of these things. Yes, it's one thing for you to give, but will you monitor when they sell it? How sure are you that the person they will be selling eventually? And then how would the government be able to regulate and be sure that, you know what, your interest doesn't go above? Because it's now becoming that we are selling money. That's how things have been going, and then I buy from you, you also buy from someone, and then I have to remit the interest back. So this is how all of this chain is. But we're excited about the fact that the CBN has slashed the exchange rate and all of that, and people have raised concern concerning our oil, how it will be affected and all of that. But right now, this is what it is. But we just hope that more will be done beyond this. Just like I said earlier in the morning, we're looking forward to when the dollar equivalent to the naira will go down as 800 naira. We are hoping, we're looking
Yeah,
forward to that.
eventually,
But
so.
as it is presently, this is what the circular that was going around from the CBN, and we hope that they will adhere to every rule that the CBN has said concerning this dollar exchange rate.
Yeah, I really like what the Central Bank of Nigeria is doing. And when you look at it in so many ways, we can go through different angles and see where this will eventually lead to. And regarding managing, or who will be able to look after, to watch and see that, okay, you know what, this the bureau de change operatives don't sell more than 1.5% to what the central, at what they bought from the Central Bank of Nigeria. And then the truth is that they will not be at 1.5% selling. They will go above that. However, the aiding mechanism here that will put it to make sure that the gap is not much, first of all, is what businesses are going to get from Bureau de change operatives. Now, don't forget that this, right, limits who and who they give this money to, this they sell this dollar to, because from 20,000 they have slashed it now to 10,000. It was 20,000. It already minimized how much Bureau de change operatives can get, and this is weekly. It means that they will most likely, of course, limit who they sell it to, not individuals, but mostly target businesses. And now, if I, as a business owner, I am going to these people, and I know that, okay, it is 1.5%, that is, they are buying exactly from the Central Bank of Nigeria at 1,251 naira to a dollar. Now, they can only sell at 1,263 naira to whoever is coming to buy from them. Now, I am going as a business, and I know that this is a circular from the Central Bank of Nigeria. What that means is that, of course, I might not get it at just 1.5%, but I am looking at a margin and a window that shouldn't be above 1,400. Because one of the aim or the reason behind this strict profit or interest margin from the Central Bank of Nigeria is to make sure that there is unification between the what would they call it? Unification between the parallel market and the official market. Now, due to this margin that is not much, people will rather just even go to the commercial banks and transact with the commercial bank, because there's no much profit in the first place. Now, if one of the reasons people go to Bureau de change is to get a higher value for the dollar. That's one of the reasons, because if you have $100 now, Sele, you can go to the bank and change it, right? But in the past, the exchange rate between the banks and the Bureau de change was big,
Extremely.
extremely. if I was to go and change my $100 at Bureau de Change, I'm most likely to get it, for instance, at 1,005. So I'll be walking out from Bureau de Change with 150,000 naira, for example, to my dollar. While if I go to the bank, I'm just maybe coming out with 100,000 because of that much margin. Now, by the time you see that the margin is not much, people will bank directly and will exchange directly from the commercial banks, because there's no much difference with the BDCs at the same time. Now, CBN will be able to keep inflow even within the commercial bank and not only Bureau de Change. That is because sometimes you will see bankers telling you to change with them because they know when you come to get these dollars, you're most likely going to go to Bureau de Change because that has been the issue. So on so many levels, you will see that there will be unification. It won't be 100%, but there will be eventually unification when it comes to the exchange rate, what you get at the parallel market and then the official market. And then now we can take it further to appreciation of the naira currency, because one of the reasons that we've had a free fall is scarcity. And one of the reasons is because the Central Bank of Nigeria was not operating directly, when it was not selling to Bureau de Change operatives. And now they have started. So if there is no scarcity, there's no need for a free fall. It will not depreciate. Now, eventually, I want to hope and believe, even if Cardoso, we are yet to have the full, what is the plans, the next step forward for this ongoing NPC meeting. It's not yet, we don't have it. But I am hoping that maybe one of the secret plans is to stop the floating of the naira currency. But then let it appreciate to a certain level, and then the CBN takes control back of what our naira exchange to the dollar. And I am hoping we get to the point where it's below 1,000. It might be difficult for us to get back to where it was before the floating, but there is an amount that we can get to. Then the CBN will be able to get back its control, and then we can keep watching and seeing if other things put in place will appreciate eventually. And one of which I believe is our refineries working. One of it, so that we can cut down, for example, the importation of oil into the country, no matter the percentage, as long as the amount that is needed to exchange the naira to get the dollar to purchase oil into the country is reduced. 5%, 10%, I don't know, but as long as there is a reduction in how much we need the dollar to be able to purchase petroleum into the country, I believe it will go a long way appreciating our naira. So I'm just looking forward to all of these measures.
You know, Rachel, we've been seeing it for as long as I can remember. The issue of our oil, our crude oil, has really way of actually, whether we like it or not, we cannot expect the fact that it's still the reason why we're having this issue of our naira to our dollar. And I think for a normal Nigeria right now, their concern is the fact that, okay, if you're saying that the dollar to the naira, how much will I now be buying a bag of rice? How much will I now be buying sugar? I mean, a measure of sugar is more like 5,000 naira right now. A cup is 400 naira. So to a normal Nigeria or to any commoner outside there, is the fact that you just wish that it will affect. But we know that we're in a country where once the prices of goods go up, they hardly come down. But we look forward to seeing that eventually it will actually eventually affect it, and then we'll see that to some extent the common man can actually smile, and then maybe the prices of PMS will go down richer. So maybe your transport from 200 now, if it can go down to like 150, I mean, Nigerians will really appreciate it eventually. Well, thank you, Rachel, for doing this with me.
Welcome,
and also thank you to our viewers, and thank you also to the crew members for making sure that this program is on air. Until we come your way again, please have a great day ahead. Bye.